I did my first degree at the University of Ceylon, Peradeniya, passed out in 1970, taught as a lecturer in the University Economics Department for 1 year and joined the Central Bank in 1971. And after becoming the senior economist, I thought I should read for my PhD, and in 1987 I registered with the University of Bradford. When I was working for the Commonwealth Secretariat, one of my duties was to study and to make recommendations for countries in the Commonwealth to reform their payment and settlement systems. I was given the opportunity to work initially for the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. So I came back in 2001 and I was given the task of reforming the payments and settlement system, which is part of the Central Bank's modernization program. And the modernization program was funded by the World Bank on a loan to the government of Sri Lanka. And the automated clearinghouse had machines those days, reader sorter machines. So when a check is written, those checks were put into the reader sorter machines. They know whose account has to be debited and whose account has to be credited. Since this process was tedious, what we wanted to do is to use the gross settlement system. It is instantaneous, it is final, and it is irrevocable, which means all the banks are expected to keep a reserve account in the central bank. In this reserves account, they should have some money for payment settlements as well. During the day, they do high value payments, and for these payments also have to be settled. So they should have money sufficient to do that. If you do not have money, Central Bank was giving an intraday liquidity facility to all the banks, because when you settle net, it is a small balance. When you settle gross, it is a large balance. So the banks won't be able to afford it. As a result of that, the Central Bank introduced with the RTGS system a facility called Intraday Liquidity Facility. This facility enabled the banks to borrow on a collateralized basis. So the banks borrow during the daytime and settle their payment obligations. So there was no settlement problem whatsoever, and the Central Bank does not have to take the risk. If you have funds, it will get settled. If you don't have funds, the obligation gets rejected. You have to find funds and come. So therefore, the risks were reduced for the banks as well as for the central bank. That means most of the settlement risks that were involved in the end-of-day settlement system was reduced to zero with the real-time gross settlement system. Now the RTGS system was introduced in 2003 September, and when we gave the specifications to the vendor, we said that we do not want only the RTGS system, we want the scriptless securities settlement system as well. So the scriptless securities settlement system is very much going simultaneously with the RTGS system, because in a payment and a settlement act there are two legs. One is the payment leg. Now that is done with the RTGS system. Then the settlement leg is the scriptless securities settlement system. Now if you have securities, the payment can be made. The moment you have securities to be transferred or to trade, you should be ready with the payment. Two legs are combined. After the RTGS system went live, the scriptless securities settlement system also went live. That means there's no script any longer. It will be all online. Treasury bills will be issued online. Treasury bills and bonds all will be traded online. Beneficiaries' accounts will be credited and debited online. And Lanka Clear was originally under the central bank earlier, and in 2002 Lanka Clear Private Limited was formed and it was taken out of the central bank, but they became the main clearing agent of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, authorized, and Lanka Clear was assigned this task of check clearing, Sri Lanka interbank payments clearing. Lanka Clear has a plan to make Lanka Clear the national payment switch in this country. You call it common switch as well. So in a common switch, it's not only the checks, there are so many payment instruments. Payments and Settlements Act was initiated by the Central Bank and it was passed in the Parliament in 2006. And in doing that, we had some consultations with ICTA at that time. In addition to that, there are several acts passed during this time. I think ICTA took the initiative to pass the Electronic Transactions Act. And after my retirement from the Central Bank, I was working for the Presidential Secretariat, and since 2011, I was posted as a chairman to Hatton National Bank.